Now, former Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, Zizi Kodwa, will be returning to Parliament. Kodwa will be sworn in with MK Party MPs who missed the first sitting of Parliament on the 17th of June. But let's discuss this further. We're joined now by the Executive Director of Corruption Watch, Karam Singh. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. As we start this interview, we're showing visuals of Zizi Kodwa appearing in court alongside his co-accused there. Karam Singh, is this surely something that is bizarre?
Bizarre is an interesting term, Michelle. Good afternoon to you and to all the viewers. Our politics does throw up a lot of curious things. A few weeks ago, when these charges came, Zizi Kodwa chose to step aside, resign his current position, and one then had the expectation that he was now going to see out his time as his trial approached on the political sidelines. So it is a little bit of a surprise to now see him on the verge of coming back into Parliament under these circumstances. I suppose some might see that as bizarre indeed.
Yeah, maybe bizarre is not quite the right term, but nonetheless, he's appearing there in the visuals we showed our viewers just a short while ago with Johan McKay, who's his co-accused in this case, a former EOH executive. And the charge sheet is quite a long one. It details 14 transactions from McKay in favour of Kodwa, including one payment of 1 million rand. There's also a payment of 30,000 rand from McKay to Zizi Kodwa's FNB account, referenced streetwise Zizi. And you mentioned that he resigned as sports minister in the wake of being charged with corruption, Karam. He did the honourable thing, so to speak, right? Being charged with corruption and so doing the so-called honourable thing and vacating his post as sporting minister. But I suppose that doesn't extend to vacating his seat or even him being excluded from the possibility of going to Parliament as a lawmaker.
Yes, I suppose the questions. He was not compelled to resign previously. There was nothing in the law that required him to resign before. This is certainly something which he needs to consider. But certainly the ANC needs to consider. Having heard from the electorate, having coming back into the new administration with a significantly reduced majority. I think the voters have spoken, and I think one of the issues which emerged significantly in the election was a lack of tolerance, a frustration, across society around issues of corruption and around issues around the integrity of our leadership. So, I think there was an expectation that that the ANC would come into the new Parliament to the best of their ability with a new slate and not allowing members in their ranks who had these kinds of allegations around them to take up their seats. It's also, there are other, it's not just the ANC. We have other, senior people in other parties with, who found themselves impeached because of various conduct coming into Parliament. And I think this is a real concern because we really hope that these elections would allow us to put the country on a better trajectory in that we, can feel that we're turning a corner in the fight against corruption and that we have this confidence in our leadership and in our MPs that they're above reproach.
Yeah, absolutely. The case of Donald Trump comes to mind. And the fact that, he's a convicted criminal does not even preclude him from becoming president of the United States. But corruption, as you say, Karam Singh, is such a huge issue for us here in South Africa. You'd think that we would be on tenterhooks to do just everything we can, at least insofar as perception is concerned, to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, as I said, the electorate spoke, and I think this was one of the reasons why the ANC, lost its significant majority. So I think, we're going to have to really watch everything very closely, whether it be the new ministers that are going to be coming into cabinet, the new chairs of the various portfolio committees at Parliament, and ensure that all the people that take up these positions are people that are beyond reproach. This is not a personal thing about Mr. Kodwa and the case he has to face. There are other implicated persons for whom charges haven't come yet in terms of the work of the Zondo Commission. I'm thinking about somebody like Malusi Gigaba. We have the impeached former Judge President John Shlope taking up a seat in Parliament, and I think that should be of concern to South Africans as well. So we're going to have to watch really very closely and continue to call for the highest levels of integrity when it comes to our leadership, because we have this trust deficit. People just don't trust the leadership because of the damage that's been done in the last 10, 15 years because of state capture and grand corruption. We expect better, and we hope for better from this new administration and for the cabinet that's going to soon to be announced.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, soon to be. I'm not so sure that will turn out to be true, Karam Singh. But just insofar as, I was thinking of Advocate Tembeka Ngcukaitobi and what he had to say when former President Jacob Zuma was in court. I think it was around whether he was eligible to go to Parliament or to be on the ballot paper, I think was the issue. And what he said there, one of his sort of throwaway lines was, lawbreakers cannot be lawmakers. Those are words to live by.
Absolutely. The legislature has such an absolutely important responsibility. There's been a lot of criticism that's gone Parliament's way to say, if they had conducted themselves differently, that, we wouldn't have gotten into a situation of state capture. So, when we have senior leaders, whether they be in the executive or in the legislature or in the judiciary, who have these kinds of clouds of allegations around them, who have engaged in conduct which makes us question their integrity. We want those people to step aside. We want to ensure that we can restore that confidence. We really, as I say, we're really looking to this new administration, to the new legislature, to really take us to a new dawn, to really turn the corner in the fight against corruption, whether that be around new laws around whistleblower support and protection, whether it be about reform of the public procurement system, or whether that deals with the establishment of a new dedicated anti-corruption agency. We still have a few years left on the existing national anti-corruption strategy. And we want to ensure that gets implemented without fear, favor, or prejudice. So, yeah, it's this trend of implicated persons coming back into Parliament is something which we should all take note of, and should be something which we should stand up and say it's not what we want, it's not what we voted for, and it's not the standard that we expect from this new Parliament.
Karam Singh is the Executive Director of Corruption Watch. Thanks very much for joining us this afternoon. Of course, we're tracking the story here around the Minister of Sport, Arts and Recreation, Zizi Kodwa, going back to Parliament. He'll be going to Parliament to be sworn in alongside the other MK Party MPs who missed the first sitting.